Us right now, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner, Byron York, is with us. Byron, good to see you.
Good morning, Maria.
How big of a gamble is it for this vote to take place today?
It's a huge gamble. I mean, I think the idea of the president giving an ultimatum to his own party is pretty unusual, and the idea, he's kind of trying to sell this idea that this is the only train that's going to leave the station. If you don't get on this one, there'll never be another one. And do you believe that? I do not believe that. I think a lot of people in Capitol Hill think that if they fail this time, they could try again in the future sometime. So the president, this is going to be kind of a test of how much Republican lawmakers believe the president and how much faith they have in his leadership. And it's, you know, you can debate how the president got here. Did he make the right decision getting in all this? But now that he's here, this is a real test of how much support he has among Republicans.
Yeah, but Byron, you could say that they can try again, but the truth is everything's so backed up in terms of what's next. Everybody knows he needs to tackle tax reform next, and if this gets backed up, tax reform potentially moves into 2018, potentially doesn't happen, going up against the midterm elections. I think that's where the urgency comes from.
You know, watch the speeches that President Trump has made when he went out into the country. Watch the one in Nashville, the one in Kentucky. Trump made it clear he would rather be doing anything other than fixing Obamacare. He wants to cut taxes. He made it clear. He said, yeah, we got to get rid of this health care thing, and then we can get on to cutting your taxes. Because he knows he was elected as a jobs president, as a president to provide more, better, higher-paying jobs. And Obamacare is tangentially related to that, but not as directly related to it as tax reform is. So this is what he wants to do in the first place.
Do you really think that even the Freedom Caucus would be willing to take on the president on this issue? I mean, in light of him really getting engaged in the last several days, it seems like he could make a lot of trouble for some of those representatives in their primaries and maybe create some opposition to them if they take him on in this.
That's a great question. Remember, we're seeing the same dynamic at work inside the House Republican caucus that we saw before, back when John Boehner was the Speaker, over Obamacare. They gave him complete fits about shutting the government down over a budget and trying to defund Obamacare. Well, they're still giving the leadership fits about this, so it's not clear what the president can do. And remember, Trump is used to dealing with business people in a business environment. Some of these people are ideologically motivated. They think it's wrong for the federal government to mandate essential health benefits or to mandate that you have to buy health insurance or do all sorts of these things, getting involved in ordinary Americans' lives. So Trump is dealing with a different type of person on the other side of the table than he was in his business life.
Yeah.
Hey, Byron, it's Dagan McDowell. If this bill, as it stands now, does pass the House today, for example, what chance does it have in the Senate?
Well,
forget about those guys and gals.
Absolutely. It's a two-part process, and the Senate could, as they say, just hit select all delete and just get rid of this thing and start over. And I think there's a real possibility of that happening. If you look in the House, we've been saying that Ryan could lose 22 votes, still pass it. In the Senate, it's a much closer margin. They only have 52 Republican senators. They could only lose 2 and still pass this thing, and that's under the reconciliation process. So there are a number of Republican senators who have expressed concerns that the bill goes too far in getting rid of, say, some of those essential health benefit requirements. So yeah, it's going to have to be completely worked over there. But on the other hand, perhaps in the House, with that done, Trump could get back to work on tax reform.
Yeah, there is a feeling within the House that if it does pass the House, then, you know what, it's up to the Senate that they will move it forward, because at this point, the senators are saying, look, it's better if it fails in the House. I could always say, look, I didn't vote for it. But once it does pass the House, they're not going to want to be the ones to block it. So we'll see. But that's the feeling, I think, within the GOP right now, that if it passes the House, that just clears such a hurdle that it's on them, that they have to do it. Well, but we'll see. You make a great point, Byron. It's great to get your insights, as always. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Maria.
Byron York joining us there.